other method of also working. Please let's get it together. When I'm done, you can ask questions. So please write down any question you have. Even if time doesn't allow us, I'm sure Chief and the team can organize other questions and each of it, each of them can take a few days. Each of them can take a few days. But because of time, we will do that as much as we can. Right. So when we talk about compelling narratives or storytelling, we are referring to the use of powerful, emotionally engaging stories with the aim to influence attitudes, beliefs, mobilize action, and drive social, cultural, or policy change. Currently, I belong private with Oxfam in Ghana, and we are pushing for taxes on sanitary pads to be taken off. So you'll see me do a bit of reference to it. The campaign is known as Don't Tax My Pad. So you see me do a bit of reference to it. And for the men, issues around menstrual hygiene, the person menstruating, but the person going through the challenges that comes along with it, the discomfort, the pain, the stress, the changes in the hormones and all that, and they gain a lot of respect for me. So please let's put our hands together again for women. If you're a man and you're not putting your hands together, you are being jealous. Put your hands together for the woman sitting by you. Right. So let's break it down. So you need to be intentional if you want to draft compelling stories. Like I mentioned, for the campaign we are running, or for any other campaign that you're running, you must be able to identify powerful, emotionally engaging stories. People are tired of the statistics. You look at maternal health, they'll give you so many statistics. You look at young people out of school, they'll give you a lot of statistics. But if you're able to identify one individual, one human interest story, and be able to carve the issue around that person's lifestyle, how the young girl, the young boy who is not in school, how that bit of um, the person is being cut off from opportunities, the person is being cut off from having the purchasing power, and then the fact that in the next 20 to 30 years, that young opportunity to partake in educational opportunities will become a burden. And we all know what a burden is. So the person will become an dependent in terms of economics. The person will still have to go around engage in antisocial vices and will become a threat to the peace of society. Such that if you have labored and you have gained all you want to gain, you cannot have the peace of mind because that person will want to take what you have. And they usually do that within minutes. So if you're able to identify such a story and they're able to connect it. People want stories that connect to them. People want stories that they can identify with. So beyond the statistics, you want to do that, and you want to drive a social or cultural or a policy change. Like I mentioned with the campaign we are running, the it will shock you to know for the males who are not married or males who don't have girlfriends and who don't buy sanitary pads, there's about 35% taxes on sanitary pads, making it very expensive for the ordinary young girl to purchase and then be able to go through that natural phenomenon. So a story like this can resonate with young girls. A story like this can resonate with mothers, with wives, with aunties who menstruate. A story like this can resonate with a teacher who has a set of female students who are not able to purchase, or because of that they are not able to come to school with us leaders, because of course if a young girl, a young woman in your religious setting is not able to, it means that that person will not be able to participate in any religious activities within that period. I hope you are following me. Great. So you need to identify that story, and it must be well structured. It must be emotionally, it must resonate emotionally, but the caution here is that don't overtell it. We are saying that we want compelling
narratives and storytelling for change. So you gather young people or young girls and then go and sit in front of parliament to cry and say, reduce the taxes on our sanitary pads. No, there are processes. So whilst you are developing the compelling narratives and then getting your stories ready, there are policies, there are structures. For instance, if you want a law to be amended, where do you go? Do you go to the office of the president or you go to the parliament house? For those in Ghana, where do you go? And those in other countries, where do you go? Your people's assembly and all that. There are processes. So you just don't get up and go and sit in parliament. Even in parliament house, there are subcommittees, there are committees that are set for specific issues. And you have to go through the process. So if there's an opportunity for an amendment, you can submit a memo. If not, and you want it to be amended because you have identified something, you go through the sector ministry and make sure you go through the process. And it cannot be done like the way you want it to be done. They have a process. Not the one by you, they have processes. So there's an opportunity for you to make input in all this. You need to go through the process. So your compelling story must be there, and your story will be a tool for advocacy, awareness, and transformation. When we're doing that campaign I mentioned, we started in the previous year, the previous government, and realized that the president is a male, the vice president is a male, the speaker of parliament is also a male. I hope you understand what I'm saying. They will not understand until you help them to be aware of the problem. And then you use that story to be able to advocate for them to shift their mindset, for them to become champions and not adversaries. And then you can get the transformation when that story or that goal is achieved. So we develop compelling narratives and storytelling for the purposes of these to shift public opinion, to influence policies or laws, I mentioned that, to drive fundraising or support, to change harmful norms or behaviors, and then to empower marginalized voices, as well as build a community around a cause, so either a campaign, an advocacy issue, or that. And let's look at some few key elements for a compelling narrative or a story that can bring about change. It must be around the real people. Don't fake it. It must be real experience. I talked about the emotional engagement. It will trigger empathy. It will get people to have that bit of anger. When we started talking about the sanitary pads, people were asking, why do we have to buy sanitary pads and pay a percentage of it to AU? Why is ECOWAS interested in the sanitary pad? The girl in Osu, Labadi, Narirugu, Savelugu, or Oti region got to do with it. If the girl is buying a sanitary pad, what has